Monday Night Raw tonight made no sense whatsoever. It was kind of entertaining, but when you actually look within the confines of kayfabe, it made no sense. Every single segment and or match, there was something that just did not compute, did not fit, and I'm going to tell you all about it today. And I know some of you are like, shut up, nerd, just enjoy the show. And I'm like, no, I will not, because here's the deal. WWE has gone to great lengths, Triple H has gone to great lengths to tell us how unreal the product is, and that it's just a written form of entertainment, no different than a movie or a TV show. Well, fine. Then you need to make your TV show make sense like any other writer and or producer would. You gotta write a show without plot holes, and when you do have glaring plot holes, you gotta expect people to call them out, and this is me calling, hey, I'm calling you out, Triple H, get on the phone, because you got plot holes all over your Monday Night Raw, and this is your Monday Night Raw, one take, one shot Raw review, where I do it immediately following Raw, and you get my visceral reaction. So let's talk about why everything didn't make sense after we talk about this belt on my shoulder. I'm going to give it away at 20,000 subscribers. All you got to do to win, comment below and subscribe to the channel. It is not a toy, people. It's a replica. You can win it. 20,000. We're almost there. So let's just start off with the main event. You know what didn't make sense about the main event? CM Punk, he beelines it, right? We get Roman Reigns, he does his, New York, acknowledge me. I believe he got that out. And then instantly CM Punk's music hits. And CM Punk is just beelining it right to the ring. And we get ourselves a pull-apart brawl. Why didn't this make sense? I mean, they do it every week. Literally every single week now is a pull-apart brawl. But here's the deal. Last week, CM Punk had a game plan, and his game plan was to make Roman Reigns so mad, so angry that he crashed out, that he lashed out against his family. He put a wedge between the Usos and Roman. He powerbombed CM Punk, and when CM Punk got powerbombed, he was laughing. Last week, CM Punk was laughing. Yes, he took a couple licks, but his plan was a success. So why this week is CM Punk mad? Like, why is he mad this week? He got the upper hand on Roman last week. He shouldn't be mad this week that he got powerbombed. That's exactly what he wanted last week. So that doesn't make sense why CM Punk was mad at all. But that said, CM Punk eventually will powerbomb Roman Reigns through the table. And so now it's 50-50 booking, but, that's kind of to be expected. But Roman pretty much got completely, pun intended, punked out by CM Punk. This was just CM Punk going crazy. He did sit down cross-legged for a moment. I thought maybe we were going to get a pipe bomb from him, but no, he just did that and said, who's old now, and then started hitting him a couple times, and that was pretty much it. We did not get a banger back and forth promo. We just got the standard 5-minute pull-apart brawl. But again, CM Punk shouldn't have been this mad. He should have been happy. He should have came out all smiles because he won last week. He got Roman off his game. Remember? No, I don't need help. Roman needs help. And then he was mad this week. Why was he mad? There was no reason for him to be mad. All right, let's go to the beginning of the show. Here's what didn't make sense. Cody Rhodes came out. Isn't Cody part of SmackDown? I know. They rarely do. The brand split is it's not a, what am I trying to say? These one take, one shot. Sometimes I get my words all tangled, but it's not a hard rule anymore. The brand split is more of a suggestion than anything, but call me old-fashioned. When people say something, I like it to be true, and they say there's a brand split. Therefore, Cody shouldn't even be on Monday Night Raw. He shouldn't be on Monday Night Raw. He should be on SmackDown. And so he comes out, and instantly Stephanie McMahon comes. And then, it's a little interesting. We had Cody actually say, well, first we had Stephanie say, "You're not your dad," but then Cody was like, "Well, you're not your dad either." So that was kind of cool. Stephanie basically told Cody Rhodes that you're not going to be able to beat this Randy Orton. And then Cody was like, "I know this Randy Orton. And Stephanie slapped him too. So it was interesting. But I just believe that this should have been on SmackDown. But here's the thing. Cody was on the verge of being interesting, and at the last second, he swerved and became lame again, because he goes to Stephanie McMahon. He's like, "Stephanie, I got 2 words for you," and then he was like, "Thank you." Oh, thank you? Come on, Cody Rhodes. Like, give me a reason to defend you, dude. I like you, Cody, but if you got slapped by Stephanie, and she's telling you can't beat Randy Orton, you're not your dad, and you end the segment with "thank you"? Dude. You know what? If I was writing that, I would have had Cody give Stephanie McMahon a crossroads. Because Randy Orton, once upon a time, did a draping DDT to Stephanie McMahon. So if Cody would have done this to Stephanie, I don't necessarily condone the men and women fighting each other, but sometimes the story could call for it. And if Cody had done that, well, then it would show that Cody would have stooped down to the level that is Randy, and that's what Stephanie McMahon was trying to tell Cody that he needed to do. So if Cody would have invoked a little 2009 Randy Orton here, I don't know. What do you think? Am I a little off base? Let me know in the comments below. Should Cody Rhodes had given Stephanie McMahon a crossroads to be just like Randy way back in the day? All right, so that's the opening segment. The next thing that happens that doesn't make sense is we have ourselves a street fight, a tag team match between the Usos and the Vision, what's left of the Vision. And the thing that doesn't make sense here is, they're fighting. All rules are out the window. The ref's just there to count 1, 2, 3. And Logan Paul goes to his mom and the ringside and says, give me my brass knucks. And he gets his brass knucks from his mom, right? But here's the thing. Why was he trying to hide these? Because in reality, it's a no DQ match. Logan Paul could have came out in a suit of brass knuckles. There was no need to hide it. No need to hide it whatsoever. He could have come out in a full bodysuit of brass knucks if he had wanted to. Like, shoot, he could have brought RoboCop. And so for him to, "Mom, I need you to hide it in your purse," that made no sense right there. And then he will grab onto Ice Show Speed, who, by the way, is still reeling from the curse of Danhausen. And I said this on SmackDown. We should The Miz. The Miz is selling that he's having a horrible week because of Danhausen's curse. Why aren't we showing these things? Why are we just saying these things? "Oh, I had a bad week." Let's have video segments of The Miz and ISHO Speed having a bad week. Heck, give ISHO Speed $10,000 per video and have him throw it up on his YouTube channel. Why not? That's a cool little crossover we got there. We should see ISHO Speed having a horrible week and trying to get Danhausen to lift off the curse. But that said, he's in the front row seat. Logan Paul, he goes for the brass knucks, but then LA Knight comes out because he was doing commentary. He's trying to stop Logan Paul, and Logan Paul grabs onto ISHO Speed and drags him over ISHO Speed, and then LA Knight, he fights Logan Paul. He walks back to ISHO Speed. ISHO Speed grabs the brass knucks, turns around on instincts, punches LA Knight. And then Logan Paul will get the brass knucks back, tell ISHO Speed to get out of here, and eventually he will punch Jimmy Uso, going for a suicide dive on him, which will allow Austin Theory to pin Jimmy Uso, because Jay then started focusing on Logan Paul, and now we got ourselves new tag champions. And IShowSpeed was like, I didn't mean to do that. Oh my God, I didn't mean to do that. So I don't know if this means we're going to get the Usos and LA Knight versus IShowSpeed and The Vision at WrestleMania, or LA Knight versus IShowSpeed at WrestleMania. And in any of those scenarios, that is not a good look for LA Knight. I'll tell you that much right there. Hopefully it'll be LA Knight versus Jey Uso. But at this point, I'm like, well, who will The Vision face? Because it looks like they want IShowSpeed in WrestleMania, and Logan Paul needs a match because they gotta have Logan Paul on the card. And you know they're gonna have Logan Paul on the card. So I don't know. But yes, didn't make sense. That. What else didn't make sense? We got the Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan comes out, right? And she got a good promo. I like Liv Morgan's promo. She cuts a good promo. She did make fun of Stephanie Fakir's mom. I didn't know what she said, though, because I don't speak Spanish. And this draws out Stephanie Fakir. She comes out, she runs out, beelines it like CM Punk did earlier in the evening. And she gets in the ring. They start fighting. But, like, Roxanne Perez comes out of nowhere, right? And she attacks, and it's the returning Roxanne Perez. Cool, right? Why wouldn't Stephanie Fakir expect someone to attack? Because here's the deal. They needed to write this different. Where was Raquel Rodriguez? Raquel Rodriguez is still aligned with the Judgment Day. Now, Liv Morgan should have said this. I want you, because Liv Morgan was like enticing Stephanie to come out the whole time. She should have been like, Stephanie, I promise you that Raquel Rodriguez will stay in the back. Raquel, I give you my word. There will be no Raquel Rodriguez. It's just, I want you to come out here and we're going to fight. At that point, then it would have been a surprise for Roxanne Perez, because then Liv Morgan could have kept her word and still been a dastardly villain at the same time. Because I think everybody was expecting Raquel to come out. So when Roxanne came out, it was kind of I wouldn't say a letdown, but it was like we were expecting someone to eventually come out anyway. So yeah, we just needed one more sentence from Liv Morgan to make the storyline just a little more. I mean, this one isn't a plot hole, but they could have done better, because it makes Stephanie kind of look like stupid. Like, she should know that she's going to get jumped. So either come with backup or only come out when Liv says no Raquel, and then the surprise of Roxanne would have been on point. Next up, we have ourselves a tag team match. It's the Irresistible Forces versus Lyra and Bayley. The Irresistible Forces being your champions. That is Lash Legend and Nia Jax. Love Lash Legend. Actually love Nia Jax as well. And it breaks down. They're fighting, and the Bellas come out, or Charlotte and Alexa comes out. I don't remember who came out first. One of them came out, and then the other one came out, and it resulted in a disqualification, and then the three teams, the three baby faces teams, then beat up Lyra, Lash and Nia, and everybody just stood in the ring. Don't you think Bayley and Lyra should be super mad about all of this? But no, they just kind of all just sat there. And then I think Bayley threw up her hands one, like, what the heck, guys? But that was pretty much it. And then later on, it was announced that this would be a four-way. This doesn't make sense. Because in kayfabe here, remember, this is kayfabe we're talking about, never ever has the Irresistible Forces asked anybody to come out and help them. Never, ever. Each time these matches have been broken up, it's been by the babyface teams. When it was Charlotte and Alexa, the Bellas did it. When it was the Bellas, it was Charlotte and Alexa. And now tonight, it was everybody. So why are the champions being forced in a fatal four-way when they can't be responsible for those other three teams? What we should have done is every single time there was a new matchup, we should have traded the titles. We should have literally had hot potatoed the women's title every single time there was a title match. Somebody should have won the title. A new team should have won the title to the point where everybody deserved a rematch, and then it was a fatal four-way. But no, we just kept interrupting matches. But the Irresistible Forces weren't at fault ever, therefore they shouldn't be punished. Simple as that. In reality, this should be a triple threat number one contenders match. But yeah, no, the irresistible forces have to be thrown in there now. Again, like, we could have made it make sense if everybody just kept trading the titles all the way to Mania. That's what they did with the Dudleys, the Hardys, and and Edge and Christian a long time ago. The titles just kept switching so much. They were like, all right, one last time, we'll settle it in a TLC match or a ladder match. Then Brock and Oba Femi. Okay, so this is pretty much to me, there's only like 2 to 3 matches that feel like, whoa, this is so WrestleMania. And this is definitely one of them. Brock Lesnar came out and he's ready to fight. He is ready to fight. And then Adam Pearce comes out with his security and says, nope, not happening. I really thought we were going to do that, which would, but then Oba just comes out. He doesn't care, which is great. This is what doesn't make sense, though. This doesn't make sense. Oba will attack all the security guards, but he also attacks Adam Pearce. I'm actually happy that he attacked Adam Pearce, but what doesn't make sense is Adam Pearce doesn't care. We even see Adam Pearce later in the night, and he doesn't say nothing. Remember about a month or two ago when Braun Breaker grabbed him and put him in the turnbuckles, and Adam Pearce was furious, suspended Braun Breaker for doing that. But tonight, Oba Femi literally not just grabbed him, but threw him upside down into the barricade, and Adam Pearce doesn't say nothing about that. So, like, that doesn't make sense. And Oba Femi did beat up the security guard. So now we've gotten to the point where pull-apart brawls aren't enough, that the wrestlers always have to just attack the security guards or producers, because CM Punk also did that later in the night. So, yes, Adam Pearce doesn't care or doesn't say anything after Oba Femi touches him. But when Braun Breaker does it, oh my God. Anyways, we have a stare down, an epic stare down, and Triple H, he could smell an opportunity for the spotlight. He could smell the spotlight and how great this buildup is, so he jumps in there. He puts himself right in the middle. I will say it was interesting, though. It was kind of a nice twist that Triple H himself had. Like, the only person that could keep these two apart is the head of WWE right now. So it did kind of make sense. I'm not going to completely just take a dump on this, but I don't want to see Triple H again in this feud. But I honestly don't understand why they can't just go at it. I just don't understand why they can't go at it. Just like a couple ham hawks punching each other in the face. That's how we should have done it. But Triple H gets Brock Lesnar to walk out, to get out of the ring, and Oba Femi's just saying, come on. Brock teased a couple times, pick up the ring steps, and then put it down. Ooh, I'm getting a little worried, though. Brock Lesnar has to beat up Oba Femi at least one time. Otherwise, Brock will win at Mania. We can't let Brock Lesnar win at Mania. Please do not let Brock Lesnar win at Mania. I really hope, ironically, that Oba Femi gets his butt kicked next week. Otherwise, he might pin him. Please don't let Brock beat Oba Femi. Please, Triple H, don't do that. What else then? We have ourselves Penta. Penta fights Kofi Kingston. It's a fine match. I don't like us just completely jobbing out Kofi Kingston, but whatever. He beats him. And what doesn't make sense here? I told you, everything doesn't make sense. And I wasn't even trying. To be like, ooh, I want today's episode to be about things not making sense. It was just as the night wore on, I was like, that doesn't make sense. And what doesn't make sense here is, I get it. Penta, he wants to be a fighting champion like everybody else on the roster right now. And the story is just, I don't need a story. I'm just a fighting champion. And so he literally asked for a ladder match, and not just a ladder match, but a multi-man ladder match, because I can't tell if these were qualifying matches or if these were the participants right now, but Rusev, Javon Evans, Oh, shoot. Two other people. I apologize. I can't remember who right now. JD McDonough, and there's somebody else. There was somebody else that has been announced. And I don't know if they're qualifying matches or if they're going to be in the ladder match already, but either way, Penta asked for a ladder match. That doesn't make sense. Even if you're a fighting champion, nobody's gonna want that. The odds would be stacked against you so much. That's not a smart champion. That's just not a smart champion. Whether or not you're a fighting champion. Hey, Penta, why don't you just have an open challenge and tie one hand behind your back? I mean, let's show me how much of a fighting champion you are. How about no hands? No hands, Penta. That'll make you even more. Penta requesting a multi-man ladder match. Now, if it was just one ladder match, then that would be okay, whatever. But for Penta to purposely put himself at those odds doesn't make sense, or it's just not smart. How about that? So if it makes sense to you, then Penta is not smart. I'm wrong though. There's one thing on this show that did make sense. Finn Balor made the most sense I've seen from anybody in a super long time. Finn Balor cut a promo, a backstage, pre-taped promo tonight, and he basically said, you know what? I've made a lot of mistakes in Judgment Day. It was a family to me, but I had my fair share of mistakes, and I took you in, Dom, and I'm responsible for you, Dom, and I will destroy you, Dom. I made you, I will break you. Now, here's the thing. When Rhea Ripley left the Judgment Day, I was very much you created Dominic Mysterio, right? You never apologized, never took responsibility for your actions. You basically gaslit everyone to that you were the victim. That's what Rhea Ripley did. And honestly, Roman Reigns did the same thing. He did the same thing. He never once apologized to the Usos. And Finn Balor took responsibility. He said, I've done a lot of bad things. I helped create Dominic Mysterio, so now I must help destroy Dominic Mysterio. So, I really did appreciate that Finn Balor owned his past, and now he can move forward as a babyface. If you're going to be a babyface, you need to apologize. Simple as that. Or at least own it. At least own it. So that made sense. Paul Heyman comes out. There's this running thing where Paul Heyman hasn't been looking at his email, and Adam Pearce is like, have you looked at your email? So Paul Heyman comes out, and Adam Pearce comes out. Have you looked at your email? No, I haven't looked at my email. And he's like, well, the email said that Seth freaking Rollins, police charges have been dropped, and he's clear to wrestle. Oh my gosh. And then we have ourselves his music hits. Paul Heyman's scared, and then we repeat the same exact segment that from a couple weeks ago where Seth sneaks into the ring and he hits Paul with the chair. Paul goes down, and then he's going to go curb stomp him. This is where the difference happens. We have Gunther then pull him out of the ring, puts him in the sleeper, points at the sign, and now we're going to have Gunther versus Seth Rollins. Now, what didn't make sense about this shut up, you nerd. What didn't make sense about this is, why is Gunther attacking Seth Rollins? Okay, so let's pretend we don't need to know right now, as long as it's explained next week. But here's the deal. If Gunther has been employed by Paul Heyman, let's say Paul, he knew that Seth was going to be what they should have done was Paul Heyman should had read the email, and Gunther should have attacked Seth before. The moment Seth entered the ring with the chair, then Gunther should have got him. And then Paul Heyman could have been like, ha ha ha, I did read the email, and I made a deal with Gunther. And then they beat him up together. Okay? And if that did happen, why would Gunther wait till after the chair shot? So, or is Gunther just taking it upon himself to do it? Is he just taking it upon himself to do it? And if that's the case, then that is a little weird, because there's really no reason for Gunther to do it. We will wait and see, but this segment could have been so much better if we didn't just repeat the chair shot and had Gunther attack earlier. He should have just attacked earlier. In any scenario, whether he's aligned with Paul Heyman or he's not right now, he should have just attacked. And then what else happened? And then Io and Raquel. Raquel won because there was a lot of distraction with Io Sky. And oh my God, Io fell on her head one time during a suicide dive. Like, geez Louise, I was worried that she broke her neck. Geez Louise, I was worried she broke her neck. Like, maybe they should stop these suicide dives. But what doesn't make sense here is, why is suddenly this storyline restarted between Kairi, Asuka, and Io? Like, why is this suddenly a thing? Like, they literally kind of dropped it for, like, the last 3 months. So, it's like, suddenly, maybe Io is the bad friend. You know, she was part of the cool kid clique for a minute, but then that clique went away, and so now Io goes back to her nerd friends and say, hey, you guys want to talk Star Trek? You know, anime? So, it's like, I mean, you know, anyways, yeah, so Io lost to Raquel Rodriguez. Happy Raquel is winning, though. I'm happy Raquel is still winning. I really like Raquel. And I think that's about it. Dragon Lee. Dragon Lee's going to be in the ladder match. It's going to be a great match. It's going to be a great match. And Seth and Gunther is going to be a great match. All these are going to be great matches. Heck, we might even get Asuka and Io at WrestleMania. Please let Asuka finally win. She's like the anti-Undertaker. She's never won a match at Mania, which is stupid. Like, I still, to this day, think Asuka losing to Charlotte was one of the worst decisions. Like, top five maybe. Top 10. Not sure where in the top 10, but top 10 worst booking decisions ever. But yeah, so that was Raw. Didn't really make sense. What did you think? Am I just a big old nerd and I should just shut up? Or am I a big old nerd and I should keep talking? In either scenario, I am a nerd. I'm not discounting that, but I feel that the writing needs to get better. The writing needs to get better. And yeah, so there you go, boys and girls. I'm going to give this, because of so many writing flaws, it did move along and stuff, but because there were so many plot holes, and literally I could find plot holes in almost every single thing, the Gunther thing is, like, maybe it's not necessarily a plot hole, but just bad writing. I'm just going to give it a 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.5. This is a 0.5. 5.5. It could be a 6. I could see it being a 6. Let's just go 6. Let's go be 6. I was like, it passed by. Like, there are moments. Okay, 6. Maybe. I don't know. Boys, girl, tell me how many chops do you give it? See you, bye.